I'm Jim Czekala. Again, we're talking about Reid vapor pressure and the need to preserve the front ends of the fuel for our racing engines, snowmobiles, motorcycles, and any other vehicles that need good fuel volatility to make maximum power. And here we've got, in this 30-gallon stainless steel drum, I've got 4 gallons of combination of stale C16, which has almost zero Reid vapor pressure. When it's brand new and fresh, it's like 1.5 psi, and it's fairly usable if you're careful. But when it's dead, it's horrible. If it goes to zero, it might not even start an engine won't start cold even in the summertime. But I've got the DrumPreserve unit in this, and we've got 5 psi of pressure on top of it. And of course there's a siphon tube down at the bottom of this tank, and this 5-gallon Basco pail with a VG2 drum fitting is a custom thing that they make, and Basco's in Illinois. It's like an $18 pail, which is really useful for transporting the fuel to, in the summertime or wintertime in a trailer, and keeping pressure on it so we don't lose our front ends. And what I've discovered, there's 3 things that create the loss of our front ends. It's temperature. The warmer the temperature, the more of it boils off. Agitation is brutal, and we also need headspace. That's the 3rd thing, to a place for the front ends to boil off to and build pressure. And in this case, since we got 4 gallons, what I want to do is I want to take this sample of the fuel and test the Reid vapor pressure. Because what I've got is about 3 gallons of dead race gas, almost zero, and I've added 1 gallon of isopentane, which has a Reid vapor pressure of 20 psi. So I'm hoping that making this little blend will allow us to make use of this stale race gas instead of burning it all in our lawnmowers, which is what we've been doing up till now. So some smart guy recommended isopentane. That's what the old-timer flat track guys used to blend their fuel with to increase the volatility so that it burns better and can make more horsepower, better horsepower. And because I hate agitation, I mean, I've discovered that just the act of pouring gasoline from a hose into a pail, if it splashes, the splashing allows some of the front ends to escape. So if I just take 1 gallon of any fuel, splash it into a container, we will have lost about 1 psi in Reid vapor pressure. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you do that enough, it's going to be dead and cost you horsepower. So I came up with the idea, since I've got a DrumPreserve unit in this Basco pail, and this also has a siphon hose all the way to the bottom, that if I transfill it from our bulk drum to the portable drum, and if I just let it pour into the bottom, if there won't be stirring and bubbling of the fuel. So this is kind of an experiment. And once I get this done, once I put the fuel in there, then I want to go over to our Reid vapor pressure test machine and see what we've got. Like I say, it's this $20 gallon gas is a shame to put in your weed eater. So what I'm going to try now, we've got 5 psi of nitrogen in this barrel, and again there's 4 gallons, and I'm going to pour it into this small vessel. I'll turn this valve on, and I'll start the transfilling process. See how nice that goes, and I'll relieve the pressure. Beautiful, no agitation. It's filling it from the bottom, and we won't lose anything by doing it this way. Seems like a little bit of a pain in the ass, but the front ends are really, really critical. And I've been dyno testing and tuning snowmobiles for 28 years, and motorcycles, and I've come to appreciate the value of really, really fresh gas. And a lot of the major racing teams now, because of what we've discovered are keeping their bulk fuel under nitrogen pressure and being careful handling like we are here today. So you can't even hear it going. It's just such a beautiful transfer of gasoline from the bulk to the portable. Now we're getting air going with it. So we've got it just about. There we go. So we've gotten all the gas out of there and letting it very gently. That's all we got there. So I'll turn this off. So now we got four gallons of the mixture of isopentane and stale race gas, and then we're going to go test it. But if I was going to keep this stored, I would, because we got 1 gallon's worth of open air, I'll keep 4 or 5 psi of nitrogen pressure on it, and that'll keep it beautiful. So that's what we got right now, and we're going to go over to the Reid vapor pressure test machine and see what this gives us. Okay, now we're back over by the Reid vapor pressure testing equipment. The bath is up to 100 degrees. It's been running for about 20 minutes. Our bottom has been in the water, so that's up to temperature. And this has just come out of the freezer. So I got our little drum of mixture of dead C16 and isopentane, and I'm going to fill this little sample jug. Try not to spill anything on me. Notice I still got my rubber gloves on. And we're in an open, well-ventilated area, so the vapors can't build up and become a hazard. So I'll take this out of the bath. It's nice and warm. Screw our sample in real quick. The headspace above the samples, I think, is about 4 times the volume of the sample. That's a pretty precise deal for the RVP test. So we'll take this. First thing we'll do is agitate it. Okay. And the pressure's starting to come up. Just below 1. Like that. Let that warm up, and it's starting to come up. So we're approaching 2 psi now. And as long as we can get it up in the 3 to 4 psi range, that's really usable. We can make maximum power with it, especially on our 2-stroke engines. With real fresh, high RVP gas, we will make our maximum power at about 13 to 1 air-fuel ratio on the dyno. And if it's stale, we can still use it, but we have to make the motor real hot, and we have to usually be around 11.5 to 1. To make sure there's enough fuel vaporizing the combustion chamber. So it's up to 2.5 psi. And again, the nice thing about these Basco 5-gallon pails with a VG2 inlet is we can take whatever we need for a day's use and carry it with us and keep the bulk container under pressure at home. And with this, as long as we fill it right up to the top and seal the top of the barrel, it'll stay fresh even in the summertime, because there's no headspace for the front ends to escape to. But the ideal thing is to just have a small container or cylinder of nitrogen to take with you wherever you're going. Like a 20 cubic foot cylinder is a real tiny thing, and you can keep the pressure on it and then dispense it and put it into your snowmobile or motorcycle or whatever it is you're feeding the gas to. So now it's about 2.5 psi. And I'll agitate it again. And it's going up to 3.5. Well, this will be, I think we've restored this dead C16 to something that we can make good power with. It's at 3.5 psi now, and I expect after a while it'll go to 4, and we're really good with that. So again, it's the DrumPreserve unit that we're using to dispense the fuel, and if I just leave it like this, now we've used a little bit out of the top of the barrel, it'll stay fresh for years and years. But the key there is keeping enough nitrogen pressure on it to keep the front ends from escaping from the fuel. Critical stuff for making best power. So she's 3.5 psi. I'll agitate it one more time. It's going up over 4, so yeah, we're good. You can see what we're doing. So isopentane is what we're experimenting with. I mean, it's been recommended to us as something that the old timers used to use for taking their old race gas or whatever they had and making it more volatile so that it vaporizes better in the combustion chambers. So that's it for now. We'll be doing some more YouTube videos as we learn about this stuff. And we'll just keep keeping our fuel fresh and keeping the motors making good power.